faithfully delivering value, interpreting great books from around the world. Hello, this is Sally's Book Talk. Today's book is Jung Made Simple. Carl Jung was a Swiss psychologist, a master of psychoanalysis, and one of the founding figures of modern psychology. Some of Jung's theories, like personality types and the collective unconscious, still influence psychological research and counseling today. If you're interested in this master's life story and his theories, you definitely don't want to miss this book. Jung was born in 1875 in Keswil, a small Swiss village, where his parents had a troubled relationship from his childhood. Jung couldn't get affection at home and similarly struggled socially at school, finding it hard to make friends. Most of his school time was spent alone with his thoughts, playing solo, daydreaming, and building a secret inner world just for himself. This secret world both compensated for his loneliness and became fertile ground for Jung's later intellectual development. At 22, Jung entered the University of Basel to study natural sciences and medicine. Near the end of his medical internship, he chose psychiatry, the only field satisfying his dual fascination with biology and the human psyche. By then, Freud's The Interpretation of Dreams was published, and psychoanalysis had gained prominence in psychiatry. After reading it, Jung was thrilled to discover his own explorations aligned with Freud's theories. He even sent Freud a book he'd written. Freud was pleasantly surprised and invited Jung for a meeting. Their first encounter felt like meeting a long-lost friend. They clicked instantly and talked for hours. Reportedly, they talked nonstop for 13 whole hours. Afterward, they corresponded frequently through letters. Freud saw Jung, nearly 20 years younger, not just as a protege, but as a son and heir, naming him first president of the International Psychoanalytical Association. Yet this father-son bond lasted only 6 years. As their psychological theories diverged more sharply, they ultimately went their separate ways. Jung left Freud's International Psychoanalytical Association, founded his own school of analytical psychology, and introduced groundbreaking theories like archetypes, collective unconscious, and personality types. For instance, another psychology giant, Fromm, built upon the collective unconscious to propose the concept of social unconscious. Moreover, Jung's introversion-extroversion theory remains a fundamental framework for personality classification even today. Jung was remarkably erudite, weaving interdisciplinary references throughout his works, but suffered from a critical weakness: terrible organizational skills. This not only discouraged general readers, but also gave psychology professionals headaches when reading his books. Jung himself once lamented, "Nobody reads my books. It takes tremendous effort to make people grasp my meaning." Today's book, Jung Made Simple, serves as the perfect entry point to understanding Jung's ideas. Its author, Anthony Stevens, an Oxford graduate, is a renowned Jung scholar. He not only chronicles Jung's life, but also explains his psychological theories with remarkable clarity. Today, I'll focus on 3 key theories: personality structure, personality types, and life development. First, let's explore Jung's initial theory, the personality structure theory. Before unpacking this, let's clarify a basic concept: personality. We toss this term around constantly, but what actually is personality? Simply put, it's the relatively stable combination of one's thought patterns and behavioral styles. When we describe someone as meticulous or impulsive, we're referring to their personality. The personality structure theory forms the core of Jung's analytical psychology. Jung proposed that personality is a unified whole with 3 layers: consciousness, personal unconscious, and collective unconscious. Consciousness sits at the surface, personal unconscious in the middle, and collective unconscious at the deepest level. Consciousness encompasses what we actively perceive, including sensations, memories, thoughts, and emotions, like believing I'm attractive or identifying as a computer engineer. I'm eating, I'm walking, I'm feeling happy. Essentially, everything within my awareness falls under consciousness. But consciousness is like the tip of an iceberg above water, making up only a tiny part of our personality. Most memories, sensations, and perceptions in our personality exist in the middle layer, the personal unconscious. The personal unconscious, this concept was first proposed by Freud. It occupies a huge portion in our personality structure. It's what's already happened, but it hasn't been recognized by our consciousness. It might have been deliberately forgotten or repressed. For instance, some kids who were severely beaten or abused by parents in childhood might selectively forget those memories because they're too painful. However, forgotten memories don't really vanish. They just linger temporarily in the personal unconscious. The third layer of personality is called the collective unconscious, a concept Jung developed from the personal unconscious. As we discussed, consciousness and the unconscious, whether we sense them or not, don't just pop up out of thin air. They relate to each person's experiences, but the collective unconscious has nothing to do with our personal growth. It's something we're born with, inherited from ancestors. It's humanity's shared memory. As we said, consciousness is what I know I know. The unconscious and collective unconscious are what I don't know I know. Our collective unconscious has a basic unit called archetypes. Many archetypes together make up the collective unconscious. For example, why do most of us find blonde hair, blue eyes, and long legs beautiful? Jung believed it's because humans have a shared memory of beauty, the archetype of beauty. When blonde hair, blue eyes, and long legs appear, we automatically compare and find they match the beauty archetype in our unconscious, so we perceive it as beautiful. Besides the beauty archetype, Jung thought there are others, like the self, the persona, and the shadow. Animus and anima play very special roles in our personality structure. We'll focus on introducing them here. The archetypes of animus and anima. In Jung's view, the animus refers to the masculine archetype in the female collective unconscious. It includes traits like handsomeness, strength, bravery, and so on. The animus isn't a specific male image. It's inherited, left by our ancestors through interactions with males. It's not just about physical appearance. It's the accumulated impressions of males, including emotional sensations from interactions. Crucially, archetypes are just sedimented ancestral memories. They don't inherently judge good or bad. If ancestors had positive male interactions, the animus archetype might manifest as brave and responsible. If interactions were negative, memories like all men are terrible could be imprinted. So the animus can appear as a gentleman sometimes and a womanizer other times. Similarly, the anima is the collective feminine image in the male psyche, also unrelated to individuals. The anima might appear as an elegant lady or a witch, whether beauty archetype, anima, or animus, all reside in the collective unconscious, combining with countless archetypes to form it. So these are personality's three layers: consciousness, unconscious, collective unconscious. Well, you might wonder, how does such a complex system actually work? Jung proposed another concept, the self, capital S, positioned at the collective unconscious core. Just as the brain commands our body, the self commands our personality. It's our spiritual core. It ensures harmonious, stable development across personality layers, maintaining our psychological stability. This concludes Jung's first major theory, personality structure theory: consciousness, surface, unconscious, middle, collective, unconscious, depth. The collective unconscious consists of archetypes, with the self as core, coordinating stable personality development. Next is Jung's second key theory, personality typology. Based on psychological functions and attitudes, Jung categorized psychology into 8 types. He identified 4 psychological functions: sensation, thinking, feeling, intuition. Simply, sensation detects existence, thinking identifies what it is, feeling evaluates if it meets needs, intuition senses future developments. It tells us where things come from and where they're heading. Say there's an apple on the table. Sensation tells us it's a red, round thing that looks edible. Thinking goes, oh, it's an apple. Feeling tells us whether seeing it makes us happy or not. While intuition might have already scripted a whole drama in our mind, why is there an apple on the table? Who left it behind? Was it intentional or accidentally placed here? These 4 functions, sensation, thinking, feeling, intuition, express themselves through 2 attitudes. Those attitudes are introversion and extroversion, what we commonly call inward focused and outward focused. Introverts focus more on internal feelings and dislike external communication. Extroverts are the opposite. They love socializing and stay curious about the external world. Jung combined these 4 functions with 2 attitudes to form 8 psychological types. The 8 types are extroverted sensation, introverted sensation, extroverted thinking, introverted thinking, extroverted feeling, introverted feeling, extroverted intuition, introverted intuition. Each of these 8 psychological types has unique characteristics. Let me briefly introduce them. Extroverted sensation types focus on reality, live in the moment, rarely consider the future, and dislike abstract concepts or meanings. Their motto is, eat, drink, be merry, for tomorrow we die. Engineers, business people, race car drivers, and climbers often fit this type. Introverted sensation types are sensitive to subjective impressions from things, like colors, sounds, tastes, textures, etc. They notice almost every detail and remember them accurately. Artistically inclined, Van Gogh exemplified this type. Extroverted thinking types excel at problem solving and clarifying issues. They focus externally, derive rules from experience, and apply them to real life situations. Since their emotions often submit to logic, they can seem cold. Jung saw Darwin and Einstein as classic extroverted thinking types. Lawyers and technicians also often fit this category. Introverted thinking types also enjoy rational thinking, but unlike extroverted thinking types, they show little interest in the external world, focusing more on theories and ideas. Kant exemplifies the introverted thinking personality type. Extroverted feeling types are usually amiable, easygoing, and extremely popular among friends. If you're bedridden, the person rushing over to cook porridge, make meals, feed your cat, or run errands is likely an extroverted feeling type. The introverted counterpart, feeling types are gentle, kind, and also well-liked, but compared to extroverted feeling types, they express emotions more reservedly and dislike drawing attention or being the center of crowds. The Mona Lisa painting conveys this exact personality impression. Extroverted intuitive types habitually use intuition to navigate life's challenges. They couldn't care less about what something originally is, but they're intensely interested in how it could be transformed. Entrepreneurs, creative artists, and fashion designers often fit this category. Introverted intuitive types. They've no interest in reshaping the external world, but revel in abstract concepts like ideas, intentions, and viewpoints. Jung himself belonged to this type. Now let's explore Jung's third major theory, life development theory. Jung believed humans are born with a complex life program that predetermines our natural life cycle. Early on, he divided life into 4 stages: childhood, youth, middle age, and old age, each with distinct developmental tasks. Overall, childhood and youth form life's first half, primarily focused on biological and social matters, physical growth, social status, financial acquisition, all key tasks of this phase. The second half, middle to old age, shifts focus toward cultural and spiritual concerns like life's meaning and purpose. Jung noted that each transition between life stages involves certain risks due to differing tasks and goals. To navigate these risks, our ancestors developed rituals, coming of age ceremonies, weddings, military inductions, medical licensing rites, all easing transitions into new life chapters. These rituals serve two purposes. First, through their powerful symbolism, they gain public recognition. Second, they activate the archetypal aspects corresponding to this life stage. The first purpose is easier to grasp. Public recognition subtly helps us confirm our new identity. The second purpose, activating corresponding archetypal aspects, deserves some explanation. As we mentioned earlier, the collective unconscious contains various archetypes: beauty, anima, animus, plus wife, husband, mother archetypes, and more. So during marriage rituals, the maiden archetype fades in women while the wife archetype emerges. Similarly, men transition from boy to husband archetype. These activated archetypes help us swiftly switch roles. For instance, they clarify spousal roles and responsibilities, helping us adapt. This is Jung's life development theory. Human life divides into 4 stages: childhood, youth, middle age, old age, each with unique developmental tasks. Life stage rituals play crucial roles in these transitions. All right, that concludes our journey through Jung Made Simple. I've covered Jung's 3 core theories: personality structure, personality types, and life development. As scholars note, Jung's ideas were so ahead of his time that even today we're still catching up to his discoveries. I hope today's exploration opens doors to understanding Jung for you. Well, that's all for our discussion of Jung Made Simple. Study notes are below the audio. See you tomorrow.